Hello and welcome to the Mild Opinion Podcast. I'm Luke,
I'm Logan.
and today we're going to be talking about some picks that we have for action movies. So,
Yes.
do you have an action movie that you'd like to start us off with?
I will softball us into the action movies with one of my favorite franchises. That's mostly just based off my hobbies and stuff. But Fast and Furious, even though they've got a lot of slop, I feel like they are one of the big quintessential action movie franchises. Like I feel like that's one of the main ones you think about it when you think of just oh yeah, just playing up just straight away action movie. But I feel like, with Fast and Furious and stuff like that, as much as it is just straight up action movies and stuff like that, it's a little different than just I don't know. There's a lot of heist movies and adventure movies and stuff like that, where as much as they are adventure and heist movies and stuff like that, the theme is the cars and stuff like that. Which I like it when action movies have, a kind of theme to it and stuff like that. Just cars or this or that. It's not just your main whatever, action heist movie, action, adventure, Indiana Jones stuff and stuff like that. Just a little more to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I know that you have not seen all of the Fast and Furious movies. You actually haven't seen hardly any of them.
Most of them. Yeah. I've seen the first one, some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are along the lines of the most straightforward action movies you can ask for. And I think, and you can correct me on this if I'm wrong, but they hit the sweet spot in probably 3 to 7 or something like that. 2 to 7. I don't know.
It probably 2 to 5 to be honest. 5. Yeah.
Well, it has everything you want, where it has fast cars, explosions, gunfire, fight scenes, big dudes beating the crap out of each other. But
it started to get to the point to where it got more way too over the top. Going into space, taking down governments, stuff like that. And it's just how did we get here?
Yeah. I honestly, I would go through all of them, but it's funny to me, the concept of it in my mind, that I've seen the first one, and it is just about, a rinky-dink little, drag race ring, and the cops plan to infiltrate it, and then I know, it gets to, I have to go to space for my family. Yeah. Stuff like that.
Just save the world from whatever's going on. It's how did we get here?
Yeah. So, I think for that being an action movie franchise, it does seem at this point, it's let's just make it as crazy as possible.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know what much I can say about it because I haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah, I think they've really just kind of started leaning toward the whole corny action movie. People give us money to watch it.
Yeah, I think I can definitely appreciate the aspect of it of people who really decked out cars, going fast and doing crazy things, driving through buildings and stuff. It's yeah, that's really cool. But the stakes of it is just odd to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw out my first pick here, and it's not my favorite franchise. It could have been, but the sequels weren't great. But is The Matrix. Because The Matrix has a very specific to The Matrix style of combat too, where there's people almost floating, and the way their punches and kicks and stuff land on each other is just a different way, and it has kind of odd sound effects at random points, but it works. I think the first Matrix movie is awesome all around because it has really good fight scenes. It has really iconic fight scenes. It has a great bad guy for the world that they build there. It has interesting characters, and it's not over the top like some of the sequels get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the one where the story feels the most like compelling, because
Yeah.
the second one, unless you're like a really diehard fan for it, just gets a little too like philosophical. Like, not that it can't be philosophical, but like it gets kind of muddy with
Mm.
how weird and like confusing it seems to purposely be at points. So I'll say the second one has some really good fight scenes in it, but the story just gets lost in it. And I think that's a good example of why the storyline is like important in action movies, is because the
Mm-hmm.
first one, it is part of like what's driving you to be watching it. It's like, what's the mystery here? How does this
Yeah.
work? Is Neo the chosen one? And that makes the fight scenes more elevated, because it's
Mm-hmm.
literally part of it is how he's fighting. Um, and then, you get like Agent Smith and stuff, is cool bad guy,
Mm-hmm.
just a dude in a suit, but it's like he's not human. And
Mm-hmm.
when they're beating the crap out of each other and like dodging bullets and stuff, it's like, yeah, there's not, you can't really do action like that because the story allows for it in these movies. So in terms
Yeah.
of action movies, I think that's a very like straightforward but also good storyline. Just the sequels really muddy it up.
Yeah, and I mean, The Matrix, uh, altogether, just iconic. Like, there's so many like references to it and stuff like that, and just like all of the, everyone knows what The Matrix is.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, obviously, when you get down to like quintessential action movies, like that's up there. That franchise is up there where it's like, okay, it's The Matrix. You know what I mean? It was,
Yeah.
and also, I mean, for the time when it came out, like it was pretty. I mean, iconic, I guess, is, like, it kind of stuck around. It held up very well.
When like simulation stuff was
Mm-hmm.
new and they did it in like a really, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy kind of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got another one you'd like to throw out there?
I do. And I think this one is kind of in the same, like, I guess, ways like The Matrix. It's not as iconic, but it's just. The sequels kind of muddy it just because of. Like, they're not even bad. It's just, like, the same thing over and over again, which I think is something that happens with action movies a lot. Like, there's not really many places you can go with like certain action movies just because it's like, well, it's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
Punching, kicking, shooting,
Gunfire.
explosions. Yeah. But and this is honestly one of my favorite action movies. It's more recent, but the Kingsman series.
Oh yeah.
I
actually had that written down too.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Dude, I think the Kingsman series is so good.
Yeah.
Well, the way that they coordinate a lot of the fight scenes and stuff in the Kingsman series is also just cool.
I really like about that series how they really lean into like the Secret Service tech part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like, oh, let's make it grounded and realistic. It's like, no, let's make the bulletproof umbrella shotgun things.
Mm-hmm.
That, and great fight scenes too.
Mm-hmm.
When I first watched that, it was a lot more violent than I was expecting it to be. For the storyline, it kind of seemed at first like it's like a 2010s action movie.
Yeah.
Like fast cars, gunfire, this and that. But then it really does get into like some really vulgar stuff too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just a funny surprise while you're watching that they're like throwing out some terminology and stuff. It's like, wow, wasn't expecting that.
Well, I think that series does a good job of mixing like serious action as well as like humor and stuff like that. But I will say, like, after the first one, it kind of does get very repetitive. I mean, they are, not to say that the other ones are like bad, but it's just like, kind of the same stuff. Just, there's a lot going on. There's, they also get to like the other branches and all that too. And it's just like, man, what is happening?
Yep.
It just doesn't hold up as well. But, I mean, that's just kind of action movies in general.
Yep.
What do you got for your next?
Yeah, so for my next one, this franchise is interesting because I don't think there's anything quite like it. But it's probably it's what I've described to you before. It's probably like the most straightforward plot to an action movie you can get in terms of how simple it is for the action to start, which is like the John Wick movies.
Yeah.
Because also the combat in that is like phenomenal, but it's so like stylized to it with like the bulletproof suits where they like hold up their suit jacket to block gunfire, and it's John Wick doing that like real like shaky kind of really shoulder heavy run and maneuvering, but then when he gets into like fist fight scenes in close quarters, it just goes on and on and on and on, and it really is like, why is John Wick gonna be killing people this time?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's the next hour and a half. He's gonna be like thrown through buildings, fall off cliffs, get shot, lose fingers, get smashed through windows and stuff. But he is moving towards something, and it's funny because it's always like he's making his way slowly across like some iconic city, and there's just somebody who's mad at him for some reason.
Yeah.
And they really are so straightforward in that regard, because they pretty quickly in the first one tell you what the deal is, and then the world building for it is really simple. It's like, okay, this isn't supposed to be the real world. This is the world to this crazy syndicate of assassins.
Yeah.
Like, here's your neutral ground. Here's how it works. Everybody goes to the same people to get weapons and stuff. And here's the rules. And of course, anytime there's rules like there are in John Wick, where it's like, don't kill people in the neutral zones, stuff like that, it's going to get broken. And it does. And then they just roll with that, cast expert martial artists and stuff in certain roles. And it's like, there you go. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is like pretty much like ground zero for action movies. Like, if you think of like, all right, like, what do you want out of an action movie? Easy to follow, really good fight scenes, you know what I mean? Not much to it, but also like good enough to like keep you like intrigued the entire time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even though like we're talking like, oh, it's so basic, these are the most basic action movies and all that, like they're very good movies.
They are good movies. And like his backstory in it is simple, but it's compelling, and it's like most of the important stuff about his backstory past the first movie you witness for yourself. It's like the whole plot after the first movie is largely because of a lot of what they've set up just throughout the movies and how he operates in that. So yeah, I really just, those movies, straightforward action, crazy weapons, and world building stuff. And in that, just like really simple, not really needing tons of explanation characters that are kind of what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
So I like that about that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, watching the John Wick movies, like, you go into them knowing what to expect, but at the same time, it's just like, wow, for being exactly what I thought this was going to be, this is like really well done. It's really entertaining. You know what I mean? Like, it's not surprising because it's John Wick, but it's just like, yeah, like this is like high tier, like the highest, I guess, of what you expect. This is like the highest compliment to action movies you could get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, pretty well done.
Yeah.
Now, I think I got one more action movie series. And this one, for me, is one of them that I think is kind of underrated. I guess not that underrated because a lot of people know what it is. And also there's the new one and all that. But the Now You See Me series.
Yeah.
I think as much as they are just like, you know, run-of-the-mill action, you know what I mean, fight scenes, heist kind of stuff, people after you, whatever. The idea, and also just the way that it's executed in the movies, of like these people who know like magic and like sleight of hand and, you know, hypnotism and stuff like that, and then using that as like an actual like at a high tier like heist and like thievery and stuff like that, and then being part of like this program, this underground program of thieves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so cool. And I feel like they pull it off so well. Like, just like the illusions in the movies and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, wow. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I actually recently just watched the second one, and I think I actually enjoyed it more than the first one. But I do like... The concept is pretty easy to get behind. It's just magicians pulling off heists, trying to take down corrupt people. And I like about it too, whenever you're watching it, it gets to a certain point where it seems like somewhere you missed something, and it's very intentional. It's like this person knows something, but I don't know what it is that they know, and then it gets to a scene where it's just like, oh, that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I wouldn't say... I don't think it's gotten to, like, direct... No, there was a fight. There's been a couple, like, fist fights in it, but in terms of the action, it's really, like, misdirecting, and someone's running, and then they run into a crowd, and somebody grabs them, but it's a different person kind of stuff. So,
just random stuff like that, or, you know...
Yeah.
Flock of doves just fly up out of nowhere and everybody's gone. And, you know, stuff like that. That's just like really cool, like visually, but also you're like, well, I mean, that makes sense. Like that's perfectly in line with what's going on. Like that's not out of the ordinary.
Yeah. So one I'll throw out that I didn't originally think of as like an action movie series, but then I thought about it and I'm like, no, it's like entirely based in action. It's just not like gunfire and stuff like that. Is the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And this is a franchise we haven't talked about on here before, but it's definitely action stuff because it's like ship battles, sword fights, duels with muskets, and like fighting weird creatures and stuff. So the reason I wasn't thinking of it so much as like action is because like the fantasy elements of it. But at the end of the day, it's like the military at this time versus pirates versus whatever supernatural things going on.
Yeah.
And the fight sequences in those movies, and I'm mainly talking about the first three here because I've seen the other two once each and didn't love them. Like the whole... I mean, there's so many good fights in it. All the sword fights are pretty great. All the ship battles are cool. Seeing cannonballs just like smashing crap to pieces. And then even when it gets to the really crazy supernatural stuff like the whirlpools and like the Kraken and stuff, it just fits. And we've talked about this in the sense before that for what those movies set out to be, which is just pirate movies, the like mythology and like lore stuff that they add to it of like the ghosts and like the skeleton pirates, and then there's like the Kraken, Poseidon, all this random stuff that's ocean lore to so many different things, makes it elevated in a really cool way.
Yeah, and I think like as simple as it could be, where it's just like, oh, pirates versus the military doing whatever and all that. I think using the like mythical elements and stuff of like, you know, the like sailor tales and stuff like that is like so cool, because not only do you get like the like, okay, like this is like a cool kind of like period piece type of movie, you know what I mean? But also you get some of that other stuff where it's like, you know, this is what, you know, everyone imagined like pirate life would be like from like the stories and stuff like that. And like they just made it look real.
Yeah.
And like that's really awesome. And I think that was always part of like Pirates of the Caribbean that I thought was like, I guess underrated. It's like, yeah, the story is awesome and there's all this to it that like it looks awesome, the cast is awesome, the story is obviously awesome and all that, but also like just like the little elements like taken from like real like sailor tales and stuff like that, and then they throw that in there in a way that makes sense to the story and stuff. And it's just like, dude, like that is so cool. The amount of research and like dedication that they put into those movies is just so cool.
Yep. And another thing I'll say about it too is I didn't hate the bad guys in the fourth and fifth one, but Barbosa and Davy Jones are both really good, but like that villains for that series, and they do them so well, and it makes like when Barbosa comes back so exciting, because it's like, yeah, when in the absence of Jack Sparrow being there to lead everybody else, him coming in and like kind of taking command fits so perfectly until they get that figured out, and then his role still after that is just like perfect. So there's not really a character in those first three that I feel like doesn't fulfill their purpose exactly the way they should. So that makes the action sequences all the more satisfying, and I also like that a lot of the action sequences that break out are because almost all of the characters in some way want something different. So they're like on each other's side until it's like, oh, this can make me rich, or like this will save that person, but this other guy wants them dead, or stuff like that. So yeah, and that fits the pirate stuff too, because there's a lot of like backstabbing and like money and greed and being drunk and stuff like that. So it's just, those are very great movies.
I agree. Oh, I think we forgot one of the best action movies of all time. We must speak on it. Nobody.
Nobody. Yep. Bob Odenkirk. I have yet to watch the second one.
I also have not. Just one of those that I didn't really get around to. But, I mean, as much as we talk about it, Nobody, the first one, honestly, as silly as it is, because it's just kind of like, what is happening? But, like, just watching Bob Odenkirk go ham, like, the fight scenes and stuff are all pretty good. Like, it's kind of,
It's kind of, it feels more realistic in terms of, you punch somebody across the face and it can knock their teeth out kind of action, as opposed to, like, Fast and Furious, where it's like two giant dudes ragging on each other, and then after like 5 minutes they like wipe their chin and they're like, now I'm mad. Like, stuff like that.
But I think that's part of what made Nobody so cool to me, is like, it's very violent, but it's like very realistic violence.
Yeah. And we've talked about it too on the podcast. Like, the action's great, but the seemingly like intentional out of pocket personalities of both the villain and Bob Odenkirk, just like, it make it not just a regular action movie. It makes it like, what am I watching? But in a funny and in a good way.
That's pretty much like kind of just what makes it interesting. That's what sets it apart from just like the other, random run of the mill action movies and stuff like that. It's like, for a movie that is as like violent and as serious as it is, it's such a like non-serious movie. Like, it's just like it kind of takes the moment to like laugh at itself a little bit, I think, which is what makes it so good.
Yeah. There's one more I'll throw in here. And I won't go too far on this because I haven't seen all of them, but the first two Terminator movies. Just because I feel like the shotguns are really satisfying when one of the machines like blasts the other with a shotgun, and like the smoke goes up and they fall back but then get back up. And I really like how they literally are just unloading bullets into each other, and the complete lack of reaction is perfect in both movies when they're just getting riddled with bullets and gunfire.
I think Terminator's probably probably top 5 action movie franchises of all time. It's such a cult following and stuff. I mean, I think there are definitely better action movies out there in terms of like, you know, actual like really awesome movies. But in terms of like franchises, impact, and all that, I mean, Terminator's kind of it's up there quite a bit.
Yeah, and the first two, I don't really have an interest in seeing past them because I've heard the others aren't as great. But I like the story of the first two. It's pretty straightforward. Of like, this machine is back here to find somebody and kill them so that the humans don't win in the future. So it has that sci-fi element to it, but when it's put in the present day tense and it's just really like, oh, it's a machine that can't be stopped by modern day weapons, and how they deal with that is it's interesting, and especially the like 80s and 90s adds to it.
Yeah.
Because you have these crazy biker 80s people who seem to always be on the wrong end of a angry Terminator.
Yeah.
But yeah, those movies are pretty good action movies. Yeah. I think that's all the action movies I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, I think that's all I got.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been the Mild Opinion Podcast. Thank you very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.